the cause that we work towards, and it's it's a drop in the sea what we're doing, because when you go to see the kind of demographics in Mumbai, but we're trying to reach as many people as we can, and yeah.
Okay, so previously I mentioned that you guys are doing such a great thing. So, what was the triggering point to start this initiative?
Um, so this happened was almost like SOS call by a set of close friends. And once the lockdown was imposed, those in gated societies and buildings would not be as affected as, and it was like a true sense of the term, right? That we our lockdown was not their lockdown. The ones who were daily wage laborers and those construction workers, migrants. So this stemmed from an idea of फिर वहाँ के लोगों को क्या होता होगा, कहाँ से खाना लाते होंगे, because they're hand to mouth earners.
Yeah.
And this started as a pilot where we gave around 1,200 meals on day one. So this started on the 23rd of March, and we went on the Western Express Highway, two of our co-founders, and realized that that was just the very start of something
Yeah.
we hadn't even fathomed, the kind of need that Mumbai would have. And we soon realized that we needed to ramp up the number of meals, we needed to add on more kitchens, we needed to have more volunteers, more helping hands. And so, like I started off with saying that it is not something that Khaana Chahiye has enabled, it's what the city of Mumbai has enabled. Is not something that we thought would snowball into, but happened to be becoming something so much bigger than what we thought it would.
Okay, so just now you said that you realize that you should increase your kitchens as well. So how does Khana Chahiye's kitchen works basically?
Right. So last year we activated dormant kitchens, and then we married the supply to the kind of demand that we were going on ground and witnessing, and our volunteers were coming back with. These were kitchen partners. One of our co-founders is a hotelier, Niti Goel, and she started off by Madras Diaries was one of our foremost kitchens where we started, supplying meals in Bandra. And it's what we did there was the previously employed staff itself was starting to cook meals out of the kitchens there, and then they were getting employment. Of course, these hotels were giving us these meals at subsidized costs, where we would pay them from the donations and the contributions that we raised through our campaigns, crowdfunding campaigns online.
Okay, so actually, when we decided that we were going to do this interview, so I thought that I should visit your website, and I did.
Hmm.
And on that website, I found out that you also gave food to the passengers of Shramik train. So, can you tell me about that? Oh, actually, you're lagging. You're
Yes,
not audible. Yeah, yeah, now you are. Or did
perfect.
you get my
Yeah,
question?
you asked me about the Shramik train.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So we had already started to work with the local municipal, the wards, and we started to work with the BMC. And that's how they kind of took notice of us. We were also working closely with them to get passes for all our volunteers. Am I audible? Are you being able to hear? Because I think the video is lagging for
I'm
you.
able to hear, but your video is kind of like. But now it is stable.
Okay. Um, right. So when they sort of when the Shramik trains they were announced last year, we I'll probably, before I go there, tell you how it unfolded for our team. Our founder Neeti Goyal was on field that day, and she was going through the Eastern Express Highway, and going through the Chembur and Mankur Govandi side. And little did we realize, she sent us videos on our group saying like there are huge sections of people just walking, like there are
Yeah,
people walking on foot.
yeah,
And she got off and she kind of spoke to some of them, and they said, we've got no place to stay anymore, no rent to pay, and we are starting our journey back home on foot. And we soon realized that we needed to also cater to this lot. So we started serving these migrants on foot at exit points of the city in Thane, in Mulund, and where we would probably find them and give them a bottle of water and some matri and some thepla, food that would last for a little longer period of time. Soon after, uh, I mean, when they started to walk on foot, that was India was the only country where we faced a humanitarian crisis of sorts, where COVID was one, but people walking on foot was the other. And it was a sad state of affairs because our government took a long time to jump into action and know that they needed to do something about it. And soon after they realized, the Shramik train started. Like I mentioned, we were working closely with the BMC, and the BMC reached out and they asked us to man three out of the four stations that were catering to the Shramik expresses. That's Lokmanya Tilak, Bandra Terminus, and the CST station. And we had our volunteers deputed from morning to sometimes wee hours in the night, and they would give bottles of water, they would give sanitizers, they would give masks, they would give food items that would last for a day or two. And some of them even would have handwritten messages. Probably I'll share a picture with you, handwritten messages that people would say ki jaiye zarur but wapas aiye because Mumbai needs you.
yeah,
And they would hand them over to people on the trains and make sure that they were going. And it was always so hard, like whilst I'm telling you, I have goosebumps coming back,
yeah, I
because
can
it was
understand.
always so nice to see them safe and going back to their hometowns. And all throughout, the thing was always that they wanted to be back, but they also wanted to be safe, and they wanted to be sure that they wanted to be in a safe space, and that was back home. And Khana Chahiye, I think on a day-to-day basis, the train schedules would always change. So even if they kind of had 10 trains, sometimes it would become 15, sometimes 30. So we always had to kind of ramp up what we were doing. And we had generous support from donors, from Parle-G, from Wipro, who
Okay.
knew the flexibility of the situation, who were keen on understanding the situation on ground, and sort of ramp up maybe their donations and contributions towards a cause like this.
Yeah, okay. So just this is just a very personal question, but I want to ask this. I don't know if you're working on field or off field, but I just want to know, when you hand over them some food or whatever you said, water or some teflas, what is the feeling which you get by seeing the satisfaction on their face?
Probably let me tell you how I went on ground. So I started with Khana Chahiye from day one, where the ops started, and I was initially looking at digital. I was looking at writing drafts, proposals, fundraising, and all of that. And then I soon realized that our news media was not capturing the kind of, like I mentioned, the humanitarian crisis that we were facing. So I am a I write. I don't know if I can call myself a writer, but as a profession, I am in communications. I write features. I work for digital, and I'm very keen on videos and shooting stuff. And I wanted to get it on film. So I went on ground with my camera, and I wanted to talk to these guys who were on foot, who were heading back home. What was the kind of feeling that they had? And I'm a student of politics. So I wanted to know the kind of class caste clash that we were having in a country like India. and the kind of political scenario that was unfolding in a time like now, where the present ruling party was refusing to agree that it was a crisis scenario.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so I just wanted to understand that, and I soon realized that I also wanted to go on ground and not just that. But let me tell you one thing, that when I was kind of shooting, my camera would just not be able to capture what they were trying to say, because they were so upset with the kind of way we had mismanaged the scenario that मेरे से हो ही नहीं पाया. So I would go on field. I was say कि भाई आप बताइए, आप बस कोई आपसे पूछ रहा है, आपको आपको जो बताना है बताइए, हम सरकार तक तो नहीं पहुंचा सकते, बट एटलीस्ट हम गवर्नमेंट के साथ काम करते हैं, सो यू नो वी प्रॉब्ली पास ऑन योर मैसेज, और यू नो समथिंग ऑफ दैट सॉर्ट. And I would go to the stations, I would volunteer there as well. And it is that feeling that you kind of possess, that you realize the kind of strength you have to help someone, and you look at the smile that you get onto someone else's
yeah.
face,
That's
and
what
you're
I
like,
was.
wow,
Yeah,
wow, I have the power to like get that smile onto someone else's face, something that we don't do usually, something that we don't think of so
yeah,
very often. So that's always um, feel something bigger than yourself. This is something I usually think of in hindsight. I would not be able to sit on the sidelines during a time like now.
yeah,
Um, and, you know, when something like this was unfolding, I'm so glad I stepped out on ground. I'm so glad that, I was able to contribute to something bigger, and be a small part of, you know, something that needed people stepping up in a time when citizens of our country, our city, needed us the most.
yeah. Yeah, I can actually definitely understand the situation. You also encourage people to participate and volunteer the projects which you are carrying on. So, what are the tasks that you give to the volunteers? I mean, what is the job exactly?
Right. So we have on-field volunteers and we have off-field volunteers. On-field, we have the daily food distribution programs that go around, or we have Wednesdays and Saturdays where we do something called as SOS delivery kit. So understanding the current scenario, what we have sort of the intel that we've gotten from ground is that this time there is a different trend on ground. Not just last year we had the lower income or extremely marginalized families who needed support, but this time it is those who are from the middle class families who've probably lost their jobs, who have no set of income anymore, or their savings have dried up, are also reaching out to support. So we provide them with a kit that lasts a family of four for a 14-15 day period of time. We have the basic items included, and this is what we've been doing more than the food delivery kits, because food delivery kits means that we're catering to the utmost marginalized. But ration kits is something, like I mentioned, given the trend, it is
Yeah,
anyone who has a basic apparatus can cook up, and also it is a longer, it is sustainable for a longer period of time.
okay.
So we're doing that. And anyone who is wanting to work remotely, there are data jobs, there are verification, volunteering, calling beneficiaries and understanding if how big their family is, and if that much food items are sufficient for them. uh, Figuring out if those Aadhaar cards, like we collect these details to ensure that it's reaching to the right person.
Yeah,
After
definitely.
that, the details are deleted because we want to make sure that safety and
Yeah,
taking details is also taken into account.
yeah,
But figuring out where they're staying, how many family members there are, and those are part of our verification calls. And now that this year we sort of moved on from just catering to Mumbai to the MMR area, and we've gone and we have responded to distress calls from Ahani, we've gone to Pune, we have gone to interior of Thane, where tribals reside, and we've made sure that families up there also are having their means of livelihood and basic food necessities met.
So you just said that you're trying to expand apart from Mumbai as well to Pune and other
Yes.
cities. So I'm sure there would have been many challenges in this process. So how did you tackle those challenges?
I think it's difficult to sort of expand, but in a crisis situation, we have to think on your feet. And we're very glad with organizations in this year and a half sort of have, like Khaana Chahiye itself was an offshoot of the pandemic, have cropped up and have stepped up who want to cater to demands that rise. So we partner with organizations that existing in these areas, and we kind of help them cater. So we partnered with an organization in Pune called the Alka Foundation, and we went to red light areas in Pune and we catered to. And Alka Foundation works in these areas previously, and all of their work is done in tandem with the police stations and the police there. So it's easier that we realize that with the process of with the idea of collaboration, you can't do anything by yourself, and you sort of are stronger together. And reaching out to organizations that existingly working in those areas of the city, it's only easier to sort of help mitigate the kind of demand or mitigate the kind of need that has arisen right now.
So do you get any feedbacks from the people who you deliver the food to?
Yeah, yeah. Most of the times they wait up for the cooked meals to come, and they are always so very thrilled to be getting, especially I remember with the early onset of COVID, they would have eyes teared up and so touched to know that someone was coming and helping. And I think all our volunteers would only make one thing sure to say that this is our duty. It is
Yeah,
our duty to help citizens who are in need. So we are not doing anything that is special. So all of us at Khaanachahiye do not like to say that we're doing this, you're doing something special. We're doing something that is an absolute requirement of the need. This is our duty to help each other, and especially when we're in need. So um, we also um, we started this vertical of the community kitchens, and the community kitchens are essentially a part of our sustainable livelihood program. So we employ the women of the community living there. So not only are they getting means of livelihood, but they are also being able to kind of be a part of the solution in their communities. And it is such a enduring thing to see people get involved into helping their own
yeah,
people. uh, so sort of you empowering, because this is a long term, this is something that we're not going to be able to solve. Like hunger is much bigger problem, it's always existed in the city of Mumbai. And the way to counter this is you create solutions out of things that are pre-existing, and give a different set of tune as to how you can sort of change and revamp what with the kind of resources we have. So usually when we go to people and you have these meals distributed, they are so happy to receive maybe even the ration kits, that but yeah, I mean, sometimes it's also heartbreaking because you're not able to help uh, as many people as you
yeah.
would like to reach out to. But yeah.
No, but I guess you're doing such a great thing. Yeah, means you're reaching at least 10% of the people, and you are supporting a very great cause. I personally feel that. Yeah, so actually, I saw on your website as well, food ninjas. I read about it. They are delivering food to people. So is this your recent project or recent task which you are doing at? Or what is your
The
recent
food,
task?
the food grain.
No, I meant that like the Shramik train which you did. So, what is your recent project which you are working on?
Right. So I think I probably spoke earlier and should have waited up for your question. The community kitchen vertical is our most recent initiative, and just give me a second.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Uh, the community kitchen vertical is our most recent initiative that we have started, and it is powered by grassroots organizations and with the idea of the Mahila Bachat Ghats of the BMC. Uh, they are self-help groups that are registered with um, the government, and it is a sustainable way of working through a problem like hunger. And not only does it empower the community, but it also empowers women in the process of doing that. And we realize now that we've been working in this developmental space for a while, when you help a woman rise up and do something, her children naturally, work their way out, and the family flourishes, and they are able to see a new space because of the mother. They step out, they're able to open their uh, growth aspect towards new things. So that is something we are trying to see as a long term solution to hunger.
Okay. Okay. So, I was actually going to ask what are your future projects which are looking at. So, are there any? If
Right.
you can share with us.
Yeah, definitely. So, um, our mapping began last year. We are working on a hunger map project that is essentially a live hunger map of Mumbai. When we stepped on ground, we realized that there was no documentation of sorts where, we all kind of know that there are these places subconsciously in our mind that you will find people who are hungry or
Yeah.
homeless in
Yeah.
these areas. But never has it been documented of sorts. You will never, there is no updated document that will say, ki, right, in the year 2005, there were so many, in 2015, there were so many. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to also categorize them on age and gender, and we're trying to pin them to the location. So we are also trying to look at giving them temporary solutions, which is a ration card and an Aadhaar card. So the lower hanging fruit is the PDS system, and they can avail services of getting and acquiring these food grains for themselves. So we are mapping these to the closest light pole uh, of where they stay, the homeless stay. And the public system in India has been a problem. The health, we faced a health crisis a couple of months ago, and the mapping began with an aim to help people access municipal services, but and relevant insights about how public policies are designed, and how they can get better access to it. And we are hoping that the hunger map is a solution towards helping them bridge that gap and able to give them the kind of services that they are looking for. And yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, last question from my end. How would you encourage people to come forward and take part in your initiative? I mean, there is actually no need to encourage much, but then,
I think um, I think people have been very generous by themselves. We get a lot of messages on our socials, or posts that we personally put up on our pages. We realize friends, family reach out, want to write in, want to contribute, want to be part of something that is much greater. And I think in a crisis time like now, people have realized that they want to be a part of the solution. They want to be able to help out and do their bit. So I think we didn't really have to
Yeah.
ask and encourage people. People have been kind enough to give their resources.
Yeah.
Even some companies from overseas, when they reach out now, it's been a difficult year for a lot of them. A lot of people want to donate in kind, who do that, who give their refrigerators, who give things that we need, like cooking vessels, etc. But companies overseas have not been able to help us with funds, but they're helping us raise funds. Like the Liverpool set up their own page for fundraising. They kind of got the football community. There was a event that happened in Liverpool where they had a walk done. So they, that these are micro campaigns that happen. Um, then there are a couple of creative agencies who have reached out, who said that they would they would help us make some short videos for kind of campaigning and for fundraising, and kind of help us spread the message to a larger set of people staying in other parts of the country and the world. So everyone wants to do their bit and do their part. So
Yeah.
it's so nice to be part of this ecosystem where uh, everyone's so kind and they're filling this space between us with kindness. So I think, like I started off by saying, that we have literally done nothing. All
Yeah.
we've done is made sure that the kind of contributions that come towards Khana Chahiye are routed to the right place and they reach the beneficiaries. Baki sara jo kiya hai, either generous donations and the city of Mumbai has done.
Okay. Uh, yeah. So okay, I'm done with my questions.